that say, Rabbi, if you'll know my marriage, you will not say such a thing. I think that I touched on a very soft point that everybody's smiling. Okay, I hope you're smiling just to enhance the class only, and not because you are experiencing real life scenarios at home. This is not a reality show. This is a real deal. This is the real deal of life. But definitely, let's be honest here. When there is a wife in certain areas of life, there is less yeser hara. It helps the person to become a better person, to become with more chesed, with more rahamim. And that's why the next line of the Gemara says, Belo beracha. The pasuk comes from the book of Yehezkel that says, Lehaniach beracha el betecha. To deposit the blessing to your home. What the Gemara mentioned before, what is the home of the person? The wife. So the pasuk is telling us that the beracha comes to the home through the presence of the wife. Belo tova. And there is a detriment when the husband or the man is alone. Is a pasuk in Sefer Bereshit. Lo tov heyot ha'adam levado. It's not good for the man to be alone. B'ma'arava amre. In Eretz Israel they say, a person that is not married, belo Torah. The Torah is not pure. The Torah is diluted because of the challenges that a single person experiences. Ublo homa, and he doesn't have protection. What does it mean? When a person is married, automatically there is a certain level of behavior that a married husband has. If it's love, if it's affection, if it's concern, or even fear. Fear of doing something inappropriate. But a person that is single, he comes to the home, leaves the home, no differences in what he does. Where is the wall? Where is the protection that he has? Not only that, the Gemara continues and it says, one more, Belo Shalom. The person does not have peace. And the question is why? Why peace is related to marriage? Let's the Gemara do the talking. The pasuk says in Iyov, Beyada'ata ki shalom ohalecha. And you will know that there is peace in your tent. In your tent means in your home, with your wife. As the pasuk says, when the Malachim came and inquired from Abraham Avinu, where is Sarah? Bayomer hine ba'ohel. Ba'ohel, the same word that it says in the pasuk of Iyov. So from this particular Gemara, we definitely get the encouragement of to stay married. For those that are married and maybe experiencing challenges in their marriage, with so many benefits that the Gemara is telling us. And I know the question that someone may ask, Rabbi, if you will know my wife, you will change your tune.
That's the exception to the rule.
Chazaku Baruch. So I tell you one thing that our rabbis of Shalom Bayit says. There is no couple that does not have the potential of becoming a successful couple. But regretfully, couples don't have direction in life. Regretfully, sometimes the negative deficiencies that we have get involved in the way of our marriage. If it means anger, if it means lack of respect, amen. If it means a talking in a way that is not positive or conducive to enhance the self-esteem of the husband and the wife. Not because we started to discuss today about a husband not being married is usually the fault of the husband. Let's be honest here. Many times could be the husband, but regretfully many times could be the wife as well. Like they say in English, it takes two rotango. So marriage, and if you read books of Shalom Bayit, they all tell you one common statement. that part of the purpose of marriage, besides finding the soulmate that is required for each neshama, and some neshamot have two soulmates. I hope neshamot don't have three soulmates, but usually everybody has one. Some people have two, and occasionally could be a third soulmate. A third soulmate means that a person gets married 3 times. I know. That's a very extreme situation, although we do know some people that went through marriage, through life, 3 times, twice with the same wife. They got married, they got divorced, they got married, they got divorced, and then marries a second wife, known the third wife.
But the marriages that they come back with,
Repeat that again?
the marriages that they come back after Hashem.
I'm not moving to the reincarnation department today and to the tikkun. I'm talking about general statement. Now, so we understand that marriage is part of the tikkun. The tikkun of the person, like it or not, it's marriage. That's why the only reason why the Torah talks about the concept of divorce, because it could be certain situations in life that divorce is the only option, God forbid, in cases of extreme situations. But what the Gemara writes at the end of Masechet Gittin, that when a couple gets divorced, Shamayim cries. Why the heavens cries when somebody gets divorced? Because God says, I believed in you, and you did not. I believed in you that you could have made a beautiful relationship, but you were arrogant, you were angry, you were not compassionate, you were frozen like a piece of dry ice, not showing feelings, emotions, affection, love. I can go on, but I think that you get the message of the Gemara of today. And that's why the Gemara says, a person, let's go now to talk about the single department. I don't know how many single men are in this room. I hope that everybody's married or happily married. And those who are not married, may Hashem send you the good nasib, the good bashert. But we need to know that many, many times the Yetzer Hara, like it or not, gets involved even when it comes to the topic of shidduchim. I don't like her, I don't like her mother, let me try the next one, let me try the next one, let me try the next one. And I'm talking about without touching. Obviously, you go out on a date, you don't like. What happens? 6 months later, a year later, 10 years later, the person is stuck in the same position. Oh, what happened to her? I'm not sure. Maybe the next one is going to be better. And the next one is going to be better. Believe me, you want to make your wife better? We need to start improving ourselves. That is a guaranteed return in the topic of Shalom Bayit. As I said before, part of the marriage is tikkun. Now, what kind of tikkun? I'm not talking about the tikkun of the neshama only. I'm talking about the tikkun of our personality, of how to become better. A person that is single doesn't know how to give. A person that is single doesn't know what does it mean to care about someone, or doesn't know what does it mean to worry about someone. Why not? Because they are single. And that's why, if you remember the halachot of Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, what the halakha says, priority 1 is that the Hazan should not be a single person. Why not? He has no rahamim. He doesn't know what does it mean that somebody depends on the person. And I'm not bashing, God forbid, anybody that is single. But I'm telling you, wake up and smell the coffee. Don't let the best years of your life linger on go hoping tomorrow will be the better wife and I'm going to find the girl the next day or the next one will be better. This is part of the techniques that the Yetzer Hara hinders the spiritual and emotional growth of the person. Now, the Gemara tells us how we should treat a wife. how we should treat a wife. Obviously, with respect, with decency, with derecheres. Obviously, it's a common way of understanding that giving kavod to humans, it's mandatory. Kol shiken to your wife, to your parents, to your in-laws, and above everyone else. Not only that, but let's see what is the perfect formula of the Talmud for a successful marriage. So the Gemara writes in Masechet Yevamot 62b, 63a, Ahohev et ishto kegufo. Translation: a person who loves his wife like you love yourself. How much do we love ourselves? A lot. I don't know if there is a number that we can, but the Gemara says, love your wife as you love yourself, which actually is a mitzvah from the Torah. When the Torah says, Be'avta l'reacha kamocha, usually people explain that this refers to loving your fellow men. You know what the Gemara of today says? Be'avta l'reacha kamocha means your wife. First responsibility of loving is l'reacha l'reacha. What's the meaning of reacha in Hebrew? What's the meaning of the word reacha? Come on.
Partner.
Your friend. Close enough. But what happens if I change the vowel and instead of saying lereacha, that means your friend, your spouse, I say lera'acha. Ra'. So your wife can be your friend, your partners, or your worst nightmare. Ladies, I apologize. I couldn't control myself in saying this. God forbid. I hope my wife is not watching.
That's the exception. That's the exception to the rule. Exception.
Yes, exception. So can you imagine that one tiny dot in a word can take it from something so wonderful and beautiful as a friend, as a partner, as he said, but today we need to be careful to say the word partner is politically incorrect. Okay, so we delete that from the statement.
We're from the old school, right?
No, I know, you're holy, you're from the holy old school. But today, in the 21st century, you say partner, it means living together on the same roof, God forbid. So definitely it's not something that we're encouraging, completely the opposite. So right away, the commentaries on the Gemara tells us, you want to fulfill the mitzvah of loving your fellow men? Start with your home. Charity begins at home. Once husband loves the wife, and let's be honest here, the wife also needs to reciprocate. Not because the Gemara is paying so much attention to the husband. What the Gemara said so far about the wife? Nothing. According to the Gemara, if the wife doesn't get married, nish geferlach. Marriage is more spiritually beneficial for the men. The wife also wants to get married because she likes a home, she likes to have children, bring neshamot to the world. So we're not minimizing the merit of the wife. But who suffers more by not being married? The husband. Because he's not considered even a human. He's not considered even a complete person. Of course you are a human. You are a human with a 50% performance. Why? Because you're missing the soulmate. Let's continue. Be'amechabeda yoter migufo. And a husband that honors his wife more than he honors himself. And the explanation is why? Because the sensitivity or the embarrassment of a lady is far greater than the embarrassment of a man. How many times you hear from the wife, I need to buy shoes, or I need to buy clothing, and the closet is full of clothing. But ladies are very sensitive when it comes to their appearance, which we understand that, and the dress code. No, I wore that dress last Shabbat. So men can wear the same suit 2 Shabbatot in a row and nobody pays attention, right? Right. But ladies have a certain level of finesse and elegance that men perhaps don't care or don't have. So imagine yourself, you bought a suit, you went to the store, and you bought a suit. And you pay, let's say, for the suit, $250. I know there are suits for $2,000, but doesn't mean that you need to spend $2,000 in a suit. Or $20,000, forget about it. You should never do that. You should never do that. Always try to live below your means. It's beneficial for your health, it's beneficial for your personality, and it's beneficial for your children. Always learn how to do a drop less that you can. That's only with us. With the wife, the Gemara will say, go a bit more. So can you imagine the following scenario? You tell your wife, you know, I went to Macy's and I got a 20% off. I pay for the suit $250. Plus tailoring, plus shatnez, plus tax. So the suit ended up costing you $325, give or take, or $350 even. Very nice. And then your wife says, you know what? I'm going to go also to Macy's and to see if I find something special. Okay, sweetheart, go ahead. And you give it a $100 bill. What are you going to think is going to happen? You just finished saying that you, Hazaku Baruch. We just finished saying you spent $325 in a suit, and now you give her here, go to Ross, go to Burlington, and buy something on closeout rate. And God forbid, if you work for Ross and Burlington, sometimes you can find the best items in those types of stores. But what the Gemara is trying to say is, don't be a wise guy. Don't be a wise guy. Don't say, for me, better, better, better. And for my wife, let us settle for something else. And that's what the Gemara says. Ve'amechabeda yoter migufo. Continues the Gemara. Ve'amadrich banav ubnotav bederech yeshara. A husband or a parent that guides their sons and daughters in the proper way. What's the meaning in the proper way? If we go by the way we learn in the Gemara of today, not only in the spiritual way, but in the topic of respect, in the topic of how to treat the adults, in the topic of how they're going to treat their spouses. And the Gemara already said this in Sukkah, that the home is the best schooling for children. And the way children are behaved and talk is usually picked up from the home. What they see in the home. So if a child or a teenager will see that at home there is love, there is respect, there is agree to disagree, and not the opposite. So when these children, boys or girls, the Gemara says, will grow up, what kind of behavior they're going to have? The same. We're not saying that there is no teshuvah. We're not saying that a person cannot change. But what the Gemara is trying to tell us is, you need to understand that people are watching. Who are these people? Your children. And if you may say, I have no children yet. Okay? That's not a good answer. Why? Because the more the person acts in a way that is inappropriate or disrespectful, it's not so easy to change. You think that is automatically you're going to change, and the next day you're going to become Superman or Superwoman, and you're going to become a super Sadiq, and you're not going to raise your voice, and you're not going to get angry. I hope that is so easy. How many of us are married for more than 1 year, or 10, and some of you 50, 60, and we still occasionally say, I'm sorry? It's nothing wrong to say I'm sorry in a marriage, by the way. You can achieve more with I'm sorry than trying to reason why you justify your behavior. This is a given formula in our holy books. And the Gemara goes even further. You raise them properly, but raise them is not enough. Be'amasi'an samuch lepirkan. Marry them when they are young. I know that in today's society, what is the meaning of the word young? The new rule now is that a teenager lasts up to the age of 25 and 26. Although usually in the English language, teenager is up to 19, now we got an upgrade. The lack of maturity of even the young adults, it expands up to the age of 25, 26. I read this in an article that somebody shared with me, written by a renowned psychologist. He says that yes, we have technology, and yes, we have a lot of good things that used properly can benefit a lot, but also is creating an imbalance in the maturity of the teenagers / young adults, or whatever word, I think they call them millennials now, whatever, right? So it says as follows, and that's why, as I said to somebody the other day, above all the good things that you do, you send your kids to a good school, you set up a good example between you and your wife, there is something that you can never stop doing, and this is praying. Praying for your children. Everybody should devote part of the prayer, if it's when you're praying the Siddur, or when you are at home, or when you are in the office, or when you are driving, or you're walking around, doesn't matter. Devote a few moments of the day to pray for the welfare of the children. And when I mean welfare, I don't mean only physical or educational or financial. I mean all of the above, including spiritual and emotional as well. And then the Pasuk says, a couple that lives properly. The Gemara writes and it says, Beyada'ata ki shalom ohalecha. You will know that there is peace at home. It says, on the love of your wife, husband and wife. Why? Sheshalom bayit nosad al ahavat ish leishto belo bederech hativ'it. I'm reading this in Hebrew, so you will understand what he says. Many times, people build their love on physical attraction, but doesn't cross that line. There is a physical benefit, whatever you want to call it, but it says you want to establish true love in your home. It says the love is not based only on the physical connection, but derech kavod amiti shemechabeda. The level of peace at home is determined on the way that the husband respects his wife. And when we say, you agree?
It's so true.
Thank you so much for agreeing. Chazaku Baruch. I'm so happy that at least one person agrees. I'm sure that we all agree. But everybody agrees. But you were courageous enough to say it loud. So I bless you that you should have true Shalom Bayit. I'm sure you have, but you know why? There is always room to grow, right? There's always room to improve. And therefore it says, the Gemara goes on and it says that the kavod to the wife is not only providing for her. Like I told you, another story that happened with someone that was going through rough Shalom Bayit issues. And when I meet with the couple, I give a few minutes to the husband to speak, and I give a few minutes to the wife to speak. And what the husband tells me, this happened a while back. He says, but Rabbi, I pay the mortgage, I pay the taxes, I pay the insurance, I make sure there is food on the table. So I gave him the short answer. Guess what? You're a good provider. Doesn't mean that you're a good husband. How come? Isn't a husband supposed to pay the bills at home? I says, yes, but you need to be a husband. A husband means what we learned today. And one of the key words, respect your wife. And how do you respect your wife? Doesn't mean standing up every second she walks into the room. If you do that, for sure you have Shalom Bayit. No, I'm sure you will have. And if you say to your wife, have a great day, and you call your wife in the middle of the day, and not to ask what's for lunch or what's for dinner. Because many times, I ask somebody, do you call your wife during the day? Yeah, usually before I come home for dinner. And how is the conversation go? And be there in 15 minutes, have dinner ready. That's not, although it's funny what I'm saying, because the topic is very serious, so we need to laugh a bit. But part of Shalom Bayit, pick up the phone in the middle of the day and call your wife. How do you feel? Ask her, what can I do for you? Do you need anything? Maybe at the end you can say, what's for dinner tonight? By the time you ask this question, you ask her 3, 4 other questions about herself that she's very happy. But if you just call, what's for dinner? How do you think she's feeling? Oh, he's coming to the restaurant? Huh? 100%. I was thinking of you, etc. And the wife also is allowed to call the husband. But I tell you from my professional experiences, when a wife calls the husband, it's not a 1-minute conversation. That's why it's called Megillat Esther. You ever ask yourself why they call it Megillat Esther? I hope Esther Amalkai is not unhappy with what I just said. It's a whole Megillah, 10 chapters. True story, by the way. Megillat Esther was by Esther. She's the one who actually said. But we know what I'm trying to say. And to the wonderful female audience watching or listening, when you call your husband, sometimes the husbands are involved in stress situations. If it's in a business, I'm sharing with you things that I witnessed with my own eyes. And not only my personal, professional life, but on other people's life. Some of the complaints that they have. Whenever I call, he's never available for me. So I said to the wife, when you call him, how do you call? No, I usually call him when I have a problem. I said, why don't you try to call him? No problems. No, why do I need to call him? That's what she tells me. I said, I don't understand. You complain that he doesn't call you. And you calling only to complain. Do you think that he only wants to hear from you complaints? And I hope that the ladies don't get upset, or the husbands don't get upset about what we just said. But Shlomo HaMelech says, Lakol yesh zeman va'et. There is a time for everything. Yesterday we learned that one of the worst things that a person can do is to talk about problems during the moment of eating a meal. Because that food becomes poison in the body of the person. Especially when you invite a guest at home. Let's say that somebody invites you to their home for a Shabbat meal or for a weeknight meal. And the whole conversation is based on me throwing on you all the problems that I have in my life. How do you think that the guest feels when these situations are being discussed?
Get it done without this meal.
Chazak Baruch. Or you know what? Let me know in advance. So you prepare yourself mentally. Look what he just said. I will have not come. Why? Because there is a moment that the person is eating, and there is a moment to discuss situations. And by the way, in the books of Shalom Bayit, it says clearly, especially when a husband comes home and the wife needs to discuss the husband certain situations or certain things that happen during the day, eat first. Let them eat first. And then discuss with respect, with decorum. This is what the Gemara talks about, the concept of breakfast. The Gemara discusses the concept of breakfast. Why breakfast is so special in the life? One of the things is because if you have no breakfast, and when was the last time we ate something? Yesterday night? What time is your supper?
8 o'clock.
You're lucky. My supper is at 4:30.
Okay.
So from 4:30 till 10 o'clock, what did I eat? I had a coffee, a tea, had a cup of water, had a coffee in the class. Zeu ze. Okay? I'm not saying that I didn't take a piece of chocolate cake, but don't tell this to my wife. Okay? But she's not listening, not to worry. Okay? So, what happens, the Gemara says, after certain amount of hours that your stomach did not eat anything, you feel something inside of you. You're not yourself. You're a bit cranky. You become less patient. You become less tolerant. This is what the Gemara says about breakfast. And sometimes people delay the breakfast, and guess what? They come into the office in an unhappy mode. Or their tolerance level is limited. Go to the other extreme. The Shalom Bayit says to the wife, feed your husband first. Let him calm. Let him be relaxed. And then you discuss the situation that is in front of us. And Be'ezat Hashem, as I said, concerning the education of the children, there is a pasuk that talks about, and I like to finish this part of the Gemara. Wow. I didn't know I spoke so much on this topic. I apologize for that, but I'm going to finish in 3 minutes. The pasuk says, there is a pasuk that talks about giving charity to the needy. And the pasuk says, what do we call, or how do we categorize a person that is needy? There are many needy people in the world. And we're talking about financially speaking. You know what the pasuk says in the Navi? Umibesarecha lo tit'alem. You cannot close your eyes from your flesh. Who is this talking about, the pasuk? Your wife and children. That the priority of a husband and a father is his wife and children. We're not saying not to help your parents. We're not telling you not to help the stranger, not to help the destitute. Help as many people as you can. But remember this pasuk. Umibesarecha lo tit'alem. From those that are your flesh, your relatives, you cannot become blind, God forbid. And therefore, one additional requirement, I believe, is the concept of praying. Praying for Shalom Bayit. Pray. Like you pray for Parnasah, like you pray for Refuah, like we mentioned earlier, pray for children, pray for your wife. And the wife should pray for the husband and bless the husband. Imagine yourself what day the husband will have if he left from a fight with his wife. I hope it doesn't happen to anyone. But let's be honest here. How many times it does happen? Don't tell me numbers. Regretfully, it could happen. How does it affect your day? How does it affect your prayer? And this is the Gemara of today, Rabotai. I think that the Gemara of today gave us so many powerful insights. So I'd like to bless everybody. For those that are married, to be happily married. For those that are divorced, find a suitable wife. For those that are single, find a suitable wife. And those that are planning to divorce, try to reignite your marriage. And Be'ezat Hashem, all the berachot will come upon you at all levels of life. And remember, honoring, respect, accepting, tolerance, patient, not having an abrupt or an impulsive reaction, which is detrimental for human relationship. Exactly, patience, sablanut, and above anything else, pray. Pray, pray, and pray. My good friends, have a great day, everybody. After Kaddish, we are going to say the special Ashkavot of today. רבי חנניה בן הקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך, הרבה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפש למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר. קדיש. אמן. אמן. בעגלה. אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם. Today special breakfast and class at the Edmund J. Amen. Amen. دي بيتراها دين يهلانا آمين. بريبا بيتسلالانو آمين. آمين. أشري شريط